Well, once again, I'm a repeat customer here as far as the podcast goes because I tried to call somebody earlier and they did not pick up, but then they called me back and did not leave a message. I suppose some of that old time, oh my god, what does he want? Is he going to pwn me? Shit is still going on? No. When it comes to the podcast, there is no shit going on. Anyway, I'm going to dial this guy again because he called me about 20 minutes ago. So here we go. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. See what happens. Who knows? Can't imagine he'll pick up. I got a surprise for him if he does, though. Go up.
Hello?
Steve! Hi, it's Torp. Hi, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for picking up, by the way. I appreciate that. Just so you know, you are officially on a Torp's podcast. I'm assuming that you're okay with that since you picked up the phone and knew who was calling, because I'm on your caller ID now too. So, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. I have a surprise for you, by the way, at some point in this podcast, and I can't wait till you see it back because you're going to love it. It's podcasts are not about ponage and onage and lols and drama. They're actually about the truth. They're actually about fun, and I have something that I think you're really going to enjoy. Trust me, you're not going to see this coming, but you're going to love it. So, with that said, I need to ask you a question right off the bat. You ready?
Yeah.
I ask everybody this question, and nobody's better or worse than anybody else, so my first question is, why are you on YouTube?
Basically, when I first started, I just made reels just to make them. Because I just viewed it as a hobby, as a way to kill some time.
Well, actually, I can totally agree with that, because when I got on YouTube, that's what I was doing, was killing time. But at the same time, I was also noticing other people killing time that had something in common with myself, which is what I saw in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also noticed that you like to do reviews.
Yeah.
And I have a review that I think you're going to appreciate. I noticed that you like to do reviews on things like dip.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Even Shay doesn't know this, by the way, Steve. Here it is in the camera. This is Grizzly Straight. I'm an advocate user of it. I'm going to do it right now. You'll notice this can is about half empty. I've been watching Steve do this. I haven't been commenting on his videos for a very specific reason, which is about to go bye-bye, but I'm going to put in my skull, well, actually it's Grizzly Straight, but as you know, Steve, Grizzly is like the cousin of Skull. Am I wrong?
No, it wasn't. Grizzly's made by the American Snuff Company.
The American what company?
Snuff.
Oh, snuff. I thought snuff was a term used for what we're doing, but you just educated me. That's cool.
Skull and Copenhagen are more related because they're both produced by the same company, which is U.S. Smokeless Tobacco.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I've been dipping since I was 12 years old, and I actually did not know that. So, with that said, I know that you're very close friends with Crow the Omega 777 and Mr. Britwigger. Am I wrong on that?
You're right. I've talked to Crow on the phone.
Yeah, Crow's a very nice guy. I've also spoken with him over the last 5 years, I guess. I'm not sure why he has the, I want to call it the audacity to just leave YouTube the way he does sometimes, because he's got so much to offer. Kind of like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed that you changed channels. Why is that?
The contract I had, I didn't agree with anymore.
Is that contract from the RPM? Did I get that right?
Yeah, RPM Network.
Where did you get that idea from?
Just because they were hounding me for a few months, and I was getting like over 1,000 views easily a month at one point. And they're like, please sign this contract and we'll help build your channel.
All right. Very good. What did the contract say that you did not like for the RPM network?
A lot of it had to do with the fact is I noticed once I signed it, everything started decreasing.
Wow. It decreased when you signed it.
Yeah, a month later, I stopped in, like, went from 1,000 down to, like, 500 views a month. I'm like, really?
Do you think that's because they were playing ads, or were you already playing ads?
I think it was because they started to monetize all my videos.
Right. I know what that's like. As soon as you start to monetize videos, it seems like people are kind of put aback by it, not as interested in it, and feel like that person might be, not yourself, but that person might be somewhat of a sellout. Even though we both know that's not completely true. There's nothing wrong with making a couple extra bucks on YouTube if you can. But if you're going to lose views to get monetized, it's really kind of defeatist. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. By the way, to ask you a question, I really enjoyed it when you were in the vlogging community as a vlogger. As a matter of fact, at one point I remember you telling me off in a PM or a comment, I can't remember which it was. It's all good, by the way. But you had actually told me, I'm going to comment or make any video that I see fit. You didn't say fuck off Torp, but you kind of like told me off, and I appreciated it completely. The problem I had with it was, I think that it's possible that you may not have seen where I was coming from, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did you see me coming at you, attacking you, or did you just feel like I was attacking you? Did I do something wrong?
I felt like the way you're putting it, he's very self-righteous about what he does. Once I get into that mode, it's hard to get out of it.
I can definitely understand that. When it comes to feeling like you've done something wrong, it seems like I I kind of fit that bill from time to time. It's only because I get into the middle of a lot of controversial subjects, I believe. But just to let you know, I hope you have never felt like I've tried to attack you. You've never felt that way, have you?
No.
Good. Actually, your dip reviews are one of my favorites, but then when you get on the trolls and you start talking about things of that nature, you really get my attention a lot. It's only because you're speaking honestly, and I think this community needs honesty. It does work.
Yeah.
Don't let me throw you aback. I'd like to hear you talk a little bit. I mean, you seem to have a lot to say from time to time, and when you do, it's really good. Is there anything you'd like to say or add to the community, to the drama, to the lulls, to yourself?
Yeah, like with the whole Logger Cat Riley situation, I'll talk about that.
Good, good. Please do.
Basically, what happened in that case was she was on Skype with a bunch of other people, with Real Man, with Craig, Hydro, and Montana were there with us, and she's on there flashing everything. She was flashing her boobs and whatnot. And then...
Was that a problem that she flashed her boobs? I'm not friends with Cat Riley. This is not about taking sides, but I am curious. Was that a problem for you when she showed her boobs?
No, what it was I was drunk at the time, and you know how it gets when you get a little drunk.
Yes, I do know what it's like when you get a little drunk. As a matter of fact, I'm more familiar with it than almost anybody else besides Real Man. Laugh out loud. But no, true story. But what happened? What got you angry with that?
What happened was then I was flirting with her a little bit, and then I said, linked her to a place where I had pictures of him, and she got mad. And then when I left, apparently she was bad-mouthing me. And then I felt I couldn't respond because she had blocked me on her YouTube channel, blocked me everywhere, on Skype and everywhere. So I did that video, which got me noticed.
Yeah, I do remember that video that got you noticed, but actually I noticed you before that. Yeah, I liked Steve before he was cool. That was a laugh out loud, by the way, seriously, I remember that. The problem I have is, why would Cat Riley be upset that you had some pictures of her boobs when she was making those public knowledge? No.
It was pictures of myself.
Oh, pictures of yourself? Oh, okay.
And then what it was is she got mad because I was flirting with her. It's like, if you're going to show your stuff like that in a room full of drunk people, what do you think's eventually going to happen?
So she was ridiculing you for having your pictures out there when her picture was out there, but it was worse. And you got to be the bad guy for it?
That's basically what happened because people didn't know the whole story. All they saw was me in rage mode, basically, because I was pissed.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to judge me, insult me, and ridicule me, call me names like retarded?
Yeah, see, that's not nice. Retarded is not nice. That's actually a clinical term that needs to be left off YouTube. That's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not humorous. And as the podcasts go, there's no laws here. That's not fun. That's not fun. I don't approve of that at all.
Neither do I.
Not at all. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I have some nieces and nephews, and some of them have, let's just call it disadvantages.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that.
And then the whole feud started between us two. And then people were taking her side. Most of them weren't even listening to what happened.
Yeah, I have to admit, Steve, that's, if you don't mind me calling you Steve, that's one of the biggest problems I've had on YouTube is that people tend to gravitate or bring themselves closer to the drama, even if it's lies, because it's more interesting than the truth, which is what I saw you doing, the truth. And my hat's off to Crow Omega 777 for that. I've always liked him, always, and I still do. He's a hell of a guy, and I've always thought he was a great guy for expressing the fact that he was communicating with you personally, but he never gave anything away. How do you feel about that? I mean, that says a lot about the guy.
I respect him for that. The fact is, we've always been cool. Like, I've never had a problem with him personally. And the fact he hasn't given out my number shows how much trust I have in him.
Well, I hope our trust can continue down those same lines because I have your number and you have mine now.
Yeah.
Well, the reason being for that is the podcast have a very, there's a reputation going with the podcast, and that is this: that we keep these real. We keep these on the up and up. They are being broadcasted live on YouTube, but in no way, shape, or form have I ever, or will I ever, try to get somebody upset or try to attack somebody. I was flattered by the fact that you shared your information with me and you wanted to do a podcast. And I thank you now, and that thank you will continue for as long as I know you. It's a big man to step up and do that.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed your, by the way, I have enjoyed your dip videos. The reason I have not commented is because it's a simple reason, Steve. If I comment, then people would tend to believe, which I normally don't care about, but they would tend to believe that I'm kissing ass, as some call it, or vlogger spooning, which I called it. The truth is, I wanted our first communication, our real communication, to be on the podcast, because everything after the podcast is considered to be real, because it is real. So from here out, you can feel free to comment, and I'll comment. We now know each other, and everybody knows you. You're a good man.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. You're a good man. I've always known that about you. But you actually ended up falling into a drama community that was nothing but drama. Your content is actually, I've noticed other channels that have actually done the same thing that you're doing, and they get within 5,000 to 10,000 views a video, doing reviews on dip, cigarettes, alcohol, speaking about the economy like you have, all the above. You have fallen into a community that's all about drama and laws. And that's not your fault. You've been real where a lot of people have not, and my hat is off to you.
Yeah, 'cause I've never felt the need to hide behind anything else.
I can see that in you, Steve. I really can. Just so you know, again, I appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me, and I'd like to do a shout to you. Steveliveshere. Would you like to go ahead and say the new channel that you're at?
It's called Steven TV 91.
Steven TV 91. I'm doing a shot to you, a cheers. There it goes. He's a good man. Hey, here's something I don't normally do, Steve. I never add links to the podcast, but in this case I'm going to, only because of one reason. Steveliveshere is one of the most honest people I've met on YouTube. And he had the guts to come up here and do a podcast. He's been nothing but real. He's been nothing short of spectacular when it comes to being honest. So I will be adding the link up here in the top of the box. I would appreciate it, but more importantly, it'd be good for you if you wouldn't subscribe to this guy. Just give him a shot. Listen to him. He's not here to hurt anybody. He's here to have a good time and share his thoughts and opinions. Isn't that what it's all about? So with that said, Steve lives here. Is there anything you'd like to add before I put this video down?
No, I'm just here just to be myself. And that's why a lot of people tend to watch my videos, because I'm more real. I'm not going to hide behind a mask or a gimmick to get noticed.
Well, you definitely don't need a mask to get noticed. A lot of people know who you are, and a lot of people are interested in what you have to say. And what I mean by a lot of people is me and the people that I've done podcasts with. They've all known who you were, and they've all talked about you. They just didn't know where you stood on the drama, and everybody wants out of the drama. So now you know where Steveliveshere stands on the drama, and you know where he stands on the real. Steve, I'd like to thank you for doing this with me. It won't be our last one. I do hope you have a great evening and a fantastic week.
Thank you. I hope you do as well.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm going to let this call go right here. I'll finish the video as I always do. And again, I thank you, Steve. You manned up, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That was Steveliveshere. Do you see how easy that is to keep it real? To just live and speak about living? The man did nothing wrong to anybody, ever. It seems like only the people that do things wrong to other people always have explaining to do. But Steveliveshere didn't try to explain anything other than his position on one particular spot that he got involved with. And that spot was with some of the drama. As far as I'm concerned, Steveliveshere is one of the few people on YouTube that actually deserves to be called a vlogger and not a drama cow. Steveliveshere, you got my respect and the respect of a lot of other people. I hope this video finds you well and others well. With that said, this is Torp's Podcast, signing out. But know this, the podcasts are real as the people that are on it. Take care, everybody. Torp out.